Hello, YouTube. Alright, well, one thing I've not done in a while is make a video. So, it's been nearly a month, actually, I think. So, I'll just give you a little update. Not a whole lot has changed. Let's see. I did start working out again, against medical advice. I really just kind of felt like I needed to. Like, I needed to be up and moving around and doing something. And that lasted for a few weeks, and then I got sick. I still kind of sound kind of sick. And I actually hurt my back kind of badly, and so I was working out through that, like through the back injury, and then it was just getting worse and worse, and I couldn't justify, like continuing to work out because I have a heating pad on all the time, and just something's out of place. It's not a huge deal, but it's taking a long time to kind of get better. So there's that. Let's see. I'm still kind of at this weird standstill with therapy, though. I think we're about to kind of like get through that. I'm actually headed there right now, and part of the problem, I think, I was doing really well before Christmas, and I know I've mentioned this. I was doing really well before Christmas, and then right before Christmas I kind of had that breakdown and the whole hospital bit and all that. And then I went to my hometown, and that was stressful, and since then therapy hasn't been the same. It's been really difficult, and I feel like I've kind of had to keep her at arm's length almost. And here's the only way I can equate it. I don't even know that it's entirely accurate, but it feels to me like I was in therapy and I was doing all this work, and that was from January until November, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get better, and it's gonna be hard, but that's okay, and I was kind of gung-ho about it. And then it's like the rest of my brain kind of caught up to what was going on, and it's like, no. We are not going to talk about these things. Like, that's not going to happen. And so now I feel like I'm kind of in this bubble, and no one's really in my bubble. Like, they can get close, but I'm still going to kind of keep them at arm's length. And I don't really know how to explain that, but especially with my therapist, like, part of her feels very threatening to me, and which is, I'm having a really hard time trying to get that. It's like I want to be there, and I want to get help, and I want to get better, but at the same time, I don't want to like go through the process, I suppose. We were talking earlier in the week about how I've never been nurtured or cared for, and that's one thing that I always wanted. I always say, like, I wish I had parents. I wish I had people, or at least people who I had parents, but people who acted like parents, I definitely didn't have. And so, like, wanting that nurturing and wanting someone to pay attention and to see how much distress I was in and what was really going on, like, it's really hard for me to kind of wrap my brain around the fact that there's all these adults around my whole life who never really paid enough attention to see that I was in trouble, and I really needed someone to help me out. Fast forward all these years, I am now, an adult, and I am in therapy now, essentially paying someone to pay attention, to notice what has happened, and like trying to embrace that, there's somebody, and not just her, my boyfriend too. And other people around. You know, it's really kind of for this precarious situation. Like, how do I let them in enough to be close? Because I don't trust that people are going to stick around. You know, because I know better than that. Nobody's going to stick around and be there when I need them to be. Just, you know, like life lesson learned. So, you know, it's kind of justifying that. Like, what do I do with this information I have now? Or what do I do with these, let me put that a different way. What do I do with these people now who want to be there and want to help? And you'd think, like, oh, just let them in, because this is what you've always wanted, right? Like, doesn't that make sense? It's, for whatever reason, it's not that easy. Not only is it not that easy, it's actually really, really fucking difficult to say, okay, like, you want to be there for me now, and you want to address all these things that were wrong, and you want to actually support me in, like, getting better and all of this. How do I accept that? I think I want that help. I've been saying for my entire life that for 22 years essentially, that, like, this is, so since I was 5, you know, that I wanted this life. Like, I wanted, you know, someone to be paying attention. I wanted somebody to be helping me, but, now I have the opportunity for somebody to notice and somebody to help, and accepting that is so hard, and I feel like I don't trust it, and I can't allow it, and it feels really unsafe. And I just don't really know what to do with that. So I don't know. I find that interesting that there's this weird juxtaposition between wanting, like, always wanting help, and then suddenly having the availability of, or having it available, and then not, like, knowing what to do with it or how to accept it, and it's, I don't know. So that's kind of like the big thing right now, and therapist and I have been talking about that. Well, we started talking about that on Wednesday, and then we were talking about some other things, about how it's difficult for me, you know, to be around one of the kids I take care of, because she is 5. She's the same age as I was when I was first started being abused, and, you know, she reminds me a lot of myself at that age, and, you know, these are all things I've discussed before. And for a while there, it wasn't so hard, but she's been sick for the past, like, 2 weeks. Just general little kid, snotty nose, like, gross cough, little kid stuff, you know, nothing, nothing life-threatening or anything, but she's been sick, so she's been home from school, and that's lots of cuddles, and lots of, you know, I just need some, like, you to take care of me kind of stuff, and I'm really good at taking care of people when they're sick. If I do have one talent, it is that. Taking care of people who are sick or are unable to take care of themselves. And but at the same time, there's this weird duality to that too, where you know, I'm taking care of her, and I want to be taking care of her, but in some part of my mind, that also means, like, because I'm taking care of her and she reminds me so much of myself, I'm also, in essence, like, taking care of myself. Does that make sense? It's kind of convoluted, but that's, you know, that's difficult, or you know, she always wants to be, like, snuggled and held, and getting used to that is hard, because I've never been, like, the snuggly type when it comes to, like, I'll want to be held, but, like, doing that to and for other people, knowing the right time to do that sort of thing, like, that's, extremely foreign to me. It's not something that I was ever shown as a child. So I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. All of this kind of like, all these things. Hold on, I'm gonna put this down a little bit because there's a cop right there, and I don't really want to get pulled over for having my phone out, because I will. So, there's that. So right now, I guess, is just kind of this time where I'm trying to adjust to a lot of things that, I think I want, but I don't want, but, or I guess better said, I do want, but I'm afraid to have. That and group is ending in 2 weeks, and I don't know how I'm going to deal with that because I feel like I really need that extra support. I do have contacts for other like groups and stuff like that, so that at least I kind of won't be alone on that until. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, as long as I follow through on those phone calls, but so that's kind of where I am. Not much else is going on. Just trying to figure out why things are so like, I don't even know how do you explain that? What's the word you use for that? Like, I want it but I don't, or I don't know. So, well, whatever. That's update that I have. So, I will. I'll try to make another update soon. Some kind of breakthrough. If something happens. Oh, actually, I did really quick. I did make a new, another. I did paint another really big piece. The other night, I was up for like 11 hours working on it. I didn't sleep. I worked. I literally worked on it all night long, and it came out quite well. So much so that like I showed it to some of the people at my group, and like they wanted copies of it. So I will put that on video so you guys can see what that's all about. So a little art therapy too, and I'll give that all in, I'll explain all of that when I make that video. But yeah, so I hope you all are well, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.